Hello, young humans. It's me, your old friend, Michael Chabon, and I'm here for story time. And today's story is called Miss Rumphius. And it was written and illustrated by Barbara Cooney. And we've loved it in our family because we go to Maine, the state of Maine, in the summertime. And this book is set in the state of Maine. And it's all about these beautiful flowers called lupins that you see everywhere in the early summer, late spring in Maine. Miss Rumphius. The Lupin lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. The Lupin lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know. She is my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharves and the bristling masts of tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. There you see the city by the sea. And there's the masts of the tall ships. Masts are these poles that hold the sails up. Can you see Alice? There she is. Now her father, worked in the shop at the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures, too, of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. She helped him. So here's the shop that they have, right down by the water, and they live above it. See her grandfather? And he's a carver. He carves figureheads. Look on the front of that ship. Can you see? It has a carved statue of a woman, and he carves those, and he carves these wooden statues. And there she is helping him finish one of his paintings she's putting in the sky. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. See Alice and her grandfather? And she said she was going to have a house by the sea and go to faraway places. And he said, "You have one more thing you must do." Then my great aunt Alice set out to do the 3 things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up, and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places. People called her Miss Rumphius now, because her last name was Rumphius. See her working in the library? She's all grown up now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. A conservatory is a huge glass building. It's like a giant greenhouse with all kinds of plants from all over the world growing inside. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical isle," said Miss Rumphius, "but not quite." There she is inside the conservatory. See, there's the conservatory. See the big glass building? And there she is inside it. almost like a tropical isle. A tropical isle is an island way south down toward the equator where it's always warm. So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked on long beaches picking up beautiful shells. One day she met the Bapa Raja, king of a fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife. The Bapa Raja himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so that Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Bapa Raja gave her a beautiful mother-of-pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine, too," said Miss Rumphius. She made new friends. Look. She went to a tropical island. My great-aunt Miss Alice Rumphius climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping. And everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters. And there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. "What a foolish thing to do," said Miss Rumphius. "Well, I have certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it is time to find my place by the sea." And it was. And she did. But here we're going to first see her climbing tall mountains. She had lots of adventures, all by herself. And everywhere she went, she made friends. But then she had a little bit of an accident getting off of her camel. And she hurt her back. And she thought, well, maybe it's time to go back. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it cross the heavens and sparkle on the water, and she saw it set in glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. But there's still one more thing I have to do, she said. I have to do something to make the world more beautiful. But what? The world's already pretty nice, she thought, looking out over the ocean. Look at her pretty little house that she lives in. Looks like it's on the coast of Maine. And what could she do to make something that's already so beautiful more beautiful? The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. "Lupins," Miss Rumphius said with satisfaction. "I have always loved lupins the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have still more flowers next year." But she was not able to. Remember how she hurt her back on the camel? Well, she had to stay in bed for a long time. But look what came up. And to see, the thing is, in Maine, it's hard to make things grow. The soil is very rocky, and there's not a whole lot of summertime. But lupins grow very well, she discovered. After a hard winter, spring came. Now Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. She could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. "I don't believe my eyes," she cried when she got to the top. For there on the other side of the hill was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupins. "It was the wind," she said as she knelt in delight. "It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped." Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. See? The wind, lupins make a lot of seeds, and they get scattered by the wind and by birds who eat them and then poop them out. And the lupins grow so easily that they just started to spread. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupin seed. That's a lot. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands, sowing lupins. Sowing means scattering, not sewing like sewing fabric, a different kind of sewing. sowing. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt anymore at all. Now some people called her bat crazy old lady. Here she is. First of all, here she is having her great idea and ordering the seeds from the seed catalog. And there she is out walking and scattering lupin seeds wherever she goes. There's a little doggy following her. Or is it a cat? It's a cat. The next spring, there were lupins everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third most difficult thing of all. And look at the world where she lives now. I'll go in close. Look at all the lupins. Everywhere you see. Beautiful lupins everywhere. My great aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is white. Every year there are more and more lupins. Now they call her the Lupin Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted the fields of lupins. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often she tells us stories of faraway places. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to faraway places and come home to live by the sea. That is all very well, little Alice, says my aunt, but there is a third thing you must do. What is that? I ask. You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. Here she is. Of course, here are all the children gathering outside the gate, wanting to come in and meet her, but they're just a little bit shy because they think she's the oldest woman in the world. But then they come in and listen. She tells them all, look at all those children listening to her stories. But I do not know yet what that can be. What is the thing the narrator is going to do when she grows up? She's going to think about it, but in the meantime, she and her friends are going to go out and pick lupins, take them home, and make their homes more beautiful with beautiful bouquets. And in the meantime, she's going to think about what she's going to do when she grows up to make the world a more beautiful place. You could think about that too. I know you could do something. And that's the end of Miss Rumphius. I really enjoyed reading to you. I forgot just what a nice story that is. I loved it. And I hope you liked it too. And I will see you again tomorrow for story time. Until I do see you again, stay safe, be kind, have fun. Bye.